With the release of Enkanomiya, we've discovered a lot about the hidden history of Teyvat. For this video, we'll be looking into the possibility that Alice was a high-ranking figure, or even seen as a god by the people of Enkanomiya, and what that could mean for the story. In the book In the Light Beneath the Shadow, we have a list of historical figures with their traditional and Narukami names. Eris, the second one down, is known in the Narukami style as Arisu, which is a transliteration of the name Alice in Japanese. This was a pretty interesting find, as unless there is more than one Alice in the story, it would point towards the one we know of being well known in Enkanomiya, and potentially mean that she was in Teyvat before Enkanomiya fell into the deep. But the traditional name Eris has a lot more to add to this, and might even point towards Alice being a god. She already has a lifespan of thousands of years, and Albedo describes her as an extremely enigmatic and near omnipotent sorceress. So as long as a group had faith in her, as the Gunhilders had faith in the wind spirit Barbatos, it's a possibility she was at least considered a god. So, Eris was the Greek goddess of discord and strife, and her symbol was the golden apple of discord. The naming of the Golden Apple Archipelago and Alice's involvement in it has to be another hint towards her being Eris. The Eris of Greek mythology had many children, including Lethe, a river in Hades that caused anyone that drank from it to experience complete forgetfulness. During the Lotus Eater quest in-game, we obtain the waters of Lethe to create the Dragonbone Orbs, a fruit whose aroma could cause people to become forgetful and unmotivated, even forgetting their own names. So, if the mythology is loosely followed, Alice may have created these waters, or orbs, with her knowledge in alchemy. The rebels even state that the formula to create the Dragonbone Orbs was shared with them by someone. Of Eris's other children, the one that stands out the most is Arti, the goddess of mischief, delusion, ruin, blind folly, rash action, and reckless impulse. She was feared even by the gods, as she could cause them to take rash actions and decisions. This reminds me a lot of Klee, who Jean has to keep indoors to prevent her from accidentally destroying the landscape. She still manages to lead us on dangerous adventures though, like with the Golden Apple Archipelago. The links here are fairly loose, but with the pieces we found so far of Alice being Eris, it does make sense to me. Eris's most famous story in Greek mythology was her causing the Trojan War. After not being invited to Achilles' parents' wedding, due to her causing trouble wherever she went, she decided to get revenge by throwing her golden apple of discord into the party. She said it was for the most beautiful one, which caused the goddesses Aphrodite, Hera, and Athena to argue amongst themselves. The Prince of Troy was chosen to pick who would receive the apple, and Aphrodite managed to tempt him to pick her by offering him the most beautiful woman in the world. This led to Aphrodite abducting Helen from her husband, the king of Sparta, and the city of Troy being destroyed to get her back. So, Alice seems to have been exploring areas like Enkanomiya thousands of years ago, meaning she could be involved in many historical events. I wonder what her Troy could be. Perhaps she had a hand in the destruction of Conria, as she is friends with Gold, or even the Sister Moons, as she is a traveller from another world. Maybe she even had some involvement in the second throne of the heavens, or perhaps it's a war that is yet to come. Ajax did die during the fall of Troy after all. Thanks to Rogue for pointing that out. But this is just conjecture until we find out more. Though she is a rather chaotic and destructive force for the most part, Alice does seem to want to protect Teyvat, as mentioned in the Wings of Feasting description. She says that the borders of Teyvat grow fragile and she's going to be busy. Whether this means she's going to reinforce them or fight off any threats from outside is unknown. But with her likely knowing that Teyvat is a sort of prison, it makes me wonder what is outside, that staying imprisoned would be preferable. I can't help but think that the star-devouring darkness that destroys worlds, mentioned in the Wings and Sword of Dissension, is the real threat, and Teyvat is like a prison when the alternative is a zombie apocalypse outside in the Dark Sea. So, what can we expect from Alice in the future? Due to her nature, it's difficult to predict, as she really could appear anywhere. With how well the Golden Apple Archipelago was received though, I expect we'll be visiting again. Maybe she'll actually be there this time and give us some information on Sumeru. I'll leave my speculations there for now, as I'll go off on a bunch of tangents, but let me know if you have any ideas or found anything interesting you want to share in the comments. I didn't expect to find anything on Alice and Enkanomiya, so this was a fun rabbit hole to go down. Thank you for watching. If you liked the video, consider leaving me a like to let me know, and subscribe if you want more lore videos like this in the future. Good luck on your wishes, and I hope you have a great day.